Hello and welcome back to The Lion's Den. I'm your host Matt as always, and welcome to the new recording setup. So I got a little USB condenser microphone that I've now got plugged into my laptop, which will hopefully streamline my setup a lot more, because I used to have to record it on my phone as like a voice memo and then send that through some application to my computer, bring it in through Audacity and do all that fun stuff, but now I can just record instead. So that's always good. Right, I do have a main topic, but I just want to cover a couple of small things. So this morning I woke up from a wild dream, and the only thing that I can remember is the setup and then the weird thing about it. So imagine this, you're at the seaside. We're considering the British seaside because that's where I'm from, and we're in by we're, I mean me and my family. We're in this pub, standard British pub, where they serve food as well as drinks and whatnot. Not kind of, the pub down the road where you go and get drunk, no. And we've just had a nice meal, and they've given us the dessert menu, right? And now this is the bizarre part, is that the title of the dessert menu was Dodgy Desserts. And I'm not joking, the dodgy was in speech marks, so kind of indicating that something's not quite right here, and it's not quite the intended meaning of the word dodgy, but that's what they were going with. And they brought out one dessert. I don't remember what the rest of them were, but they brought out this one dessert, and that was pearl onions in chocolate pudding. Don't know why, that's what I remember, but we were all sat looking at it thinking, this is absolutely disgusting, what is going on? And I remember the waitress, whatever, was like, okay, I'll take it and come back with something else. So, bizarre dreams. The other small thing that I wanted to talk about is I bought a amiibo. So I have a list of amiibo that I'm really interested in getting, and this one was the Shovel Knight amiibo from ages ago when the Shovel Knight game came out on 3DS, I think. And it's just the standard Shovel Knight one, and I really wanted it because he looks so cool, and the amiibo figurines are they have some really nice ones. But whenever I went looking on like Amazon for it, they were stupidly expensive, like wildly expensive. 60 odd quid, which is just not even worth it. And I finally decided that I'd go and look around like on eBay, and found that a seller was selling one for 16 quid, free delivery, and I thought, right, I'm sold, done, take my money. So that arrived, and I am chuffed to bits. Okay, so the main meat of today's episode is I've finished university. My final project was due yesterday as of recording this. Me and my project partner, we submitted early anyway, so I was done probably Tuesday afternoon, but the actual deadline was yesterday, so I wasn't officially done until the deadline had passed. But we're sorted now. I am free, and it is bizarre because I've been working so hard, or working constantly for so long, that I don't know what it's like to actually just have nothing. It's terrifying at the same time because I'm like, I'm an adult now, I have to get a job and figure out what to do with my life. But for the current foreseeable future, there's just nothing. I can do what I want, when I want, how I want. It's bizarre. But I thought I'd just give a little bit of a taste as to what my life was like going through university, because potentially people might be listening to this who are considering going to university or looking at going into university, and maybe want to kind of know what it's like, because it is a very bizarre thing. It's not like anything I've ever been in before, but it was probably the right decision for me. I don't know, it's not the right decision for everyone, so I did a master's, or an integrated master's rather, which is a 4-year course. I studied physics with theoretical physics, which is just basically just means that when I get to pick modules, I mainly pick the theoretical modules, or some other theoretical modules are already pre-picked for me. That's generally what specialized courses mean. It just means that what you end up doing is predetermined to some extent. And generally that's not the best option for most people, because you find that you go through your course and things change, so you not necessarily want to have specialised at the very start of it, but everyone is different, so the general rule of thumb is just kind of keep it open, keep your options open. So the first year was kind of easy. The core content was mostly what I'd seen before at high school or college or sixth form, depending on what you want to call it. So it meant that you weren't really struggling with the work. You just kind of had to keep your head in the game and not let it pile up on you. Instead, the first year was more about learning how to be a person, because up until that point, depending on your circumstances, you've possibly not lived at home, or you've maybe never had to cook for yourself or do laundry or things like that. Obviously, everyone's scenario is different. I can only speak from my experience, but this is the first time when you will be, well, most likely the first time when you will be on your own, doing your own thing. So they make the first year kind of intentionally easy, so that you can acclimatize yourself to this new scenario. And that was great, actually. It meant that I could kind of go out, do some society stuff, meet people, go out drinking. Not that often, I'm not really a drinking kind of person, but I did a couple times. I did go out to like a pub and a club and whatnot. And then you move into the second year when they're like, right, we're going to actually start making you do work now. So the workload gets a lot harder, which is a huge debate in our department specifically about why it's a lot harder, but it's mainly just they start teaching you brand new things that are of a level beyond anything you've done up until that point. And obviously by that time you probably settled down with the whole routine of being a student at university, so you can kind of balance it a little better and make sure that you're keeping on top of it. I also did continue to do society stuff, which was really good. I honestly highly rate doing societies because they will keep you sane from the long stretches of work. And the sport, I was fortunate that in my life I had learned that I like playing badminton. So in my second year and some of third year, I continued to play badminton with the little like social society. That was very good because one, it keeps you active, and two, it's just something different from doing work. Also by second year as well, I'd moved out of university halls, so instead of being on campus, or rather close to campus, I was now living in a rented house with a couple friends, which is honestly infinitely better because the people I moved in were so much better than the random people I got in my first year, because obviously first year, if you move into halls, you're not really picking who you want to live with. But second year was much nicer. Internet's so much better when you sort it out yourself, trust me. So much better. And also I was just closer to more important things for me. But yeah, second year went by fairly smoothly, I'd say. As I was talking to my housemate who also does physics, second year was hell on earth, but I don't remember it all that much, so don't worry about it, to be honest. Third year was the sort of middle point. Things are getting harder again, but not nearly as a significant jump as second year was. And then obviously the whole world died halfway through my third year, so that was fun. Can't really say much outside of that. I basically moved home, was doing everything over the internet, but it was largely the same as previous years, so not too bad. And then my final year, which I've now just completed, specifically for my course, was run very differently. Instead of sort of doing lectures, learning content, and then sitting an exam, it was a lot of group work and writing long form pieces of like, how would you explain it, like sort of literature reviews. So you read a bunch of texts and write about them, or you do a long form report or an essay or something like that. So that was a very different and a bit of a change. And I'd say obviously that's my course specifically that I did, and your course will be different, but I think everyone kind of falls into a similar vein of, it's just you're here to learn about yourself, learn what you enjoy, and hopefully do things that you enjoy, more so than actually doing your course. Obviously you're here to get a degree at the same time, so don't neglect that, but there's so much else around it that you shouldn't make it I say that it's your primary focus that you want to get a degree, but it should also be of equal priority to also do other things, you know. Go out, meet people, do societies, play sports, I don't know, go on a trip or something if there's the opportunity, just because that's what university is about. You're free to kind of do what you want and explore. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it for anybody who is interested in studying further. If you know that by the time you're finishing mainstream school and education that you want to go into a job or you want an apprenticeship or anything, go for it, because obviously that is a whole different route that is completely valid and is another option for people. I know a lot of people probably don't enjoy the whole rigmarole of studying, lectures, doing coursework, and then sitting down for like a 2-hour exam. That's not everyone's cup of tea. It's just kind of what I knew I was good at, so it worked out. But to be honest, at this point, I'm glad that my 4th year was not that, because by the time I'd finished 3rd year, I was kind of over that whole thing. You know, when you've done that whole sit down for a lesson, study a bunch of content, and then do an exam for, 9 years of your life, you kind of get to a point where you're like, yeah, I'm done, I'm good. So it was nice to have that break finally, but still be doing education, because I do enjoy learning, which I know is probably a luxury to enjoy learning. Definitely look at it. Definitely ask a lot of questions as well when you're going around open days. Just ask people. Be like, how did you find it? What did you do? What did you enjoy? Obviously, because I was a student ambassador for a long time, so I've talked to people about university and as I was going through it. And the biggest thing I always wanted to do was kind of say to them, like, this is the truth. Like, I never just kind of said, oh, the course is great and the university is really nice. Like, I told them, oh, yeah, like, I moved out of my house 1st year and went and lived with my friend 2nd year, and this is what it was like, and this was good and this was bad. Good students will tell you it straight. That's the biggest thing. So, just, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask the silly questions like, oh, did you enjoy living in a house, or would you have preferred to have gone into a studio in halls or something? Ask the dumb questions, because you might learn something that you didn't realise you wanted to learn. Either way, I could ramble on about this forever, so I'll leave this as a bit of a longer episode. I don't want to overstay. Obviously, I didn't do anything last week because I was knee deep in finishing my work, which is what this is all about. So hopefully you've enjoyed listening to me ramble on and on about absolutely nothing, but hopefully this has helped people as well. If it has, then I'll be good. Either way, I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.